We're at breakfast. Here's Coleman. Let's say hi, Coleman. There's the whole table.
Thank you. Alrighty, folks, we are on our way with our guide Fabrizio. We got half of our group down there, other half up here. We're ready to do some hiking, because apparently we got a lot of hiking ahead of us.
This is more of a axial architecture, open architecture. But this is one of the most important examples in the world. There is one more famous and purer, that is Orvieto. If you ever make an Orvieto, Thomas Aquinas, you should see it. That's the mother of Italian churches. But this is a good example, by the way. The upper church was finished in 1253, which is logical, but the arts of work, the last art of work was added actually by a Jesuit effect in 1632 when they did the apse of the lower church. That looks a lot like the churches in Rome. So that's more or less the history. Now, what's happening with Francesco? They brought him 2 years after in a secret procession because they're afraid that something would happen to him, what happened to other saints who are separated and rest in pieces. So they brought Francesco and buried him underneath the high altar. Which high altar? The one in the lower church, that papal altar, because this church is a papal church. And he stayed there. Nice and restful. But it is a well-known hospice. It's a well-known hospital, clinic, use it like that. So obviously it was a premature birth or something went wrong. So we had to bring her in. And when he was born, actually when he was born and even when he was baptized, the father was not here, which is very uncommon. Meaning that it seems that the boy was born in either bad health or because they had to baptize him fast. So when they baptized him as Giovanni. What's going to happen, and I will also update the group. It's as following. At 2 o'clock, 2:15, you decide with Father, you will have a wonderful hike to one of the most important hermitages of the Franciscans. About an hour hike. Up on the mountain in Subasio. And then return. And then dinner and all that. Tomorrow, I'll be updating the times. The idea is tomorrow, you will be taxied, or you'll go with taxi, because after I saw how difficult it is San Damiano, taxis, from your guest house, Jackson, with Maria, down to San Damiano, say mass, return by taxi from San Damiano to the house. But I also saw that practically you will lose about half an hour walking with the luggage to the bus. So I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to taxi you from the guest house to wherever the bus is.
The reason they're going off is because at midday is when they typically pray the Angelus. So this is the prayer of when God came down. So they pray the Angelus now, okay? And the bells are like this. People are in the field, they're working in the field, and then the Angelus would come out. People would have to know that it was midday.
Alright, Sophia, we've seen a lot of cool sights so far today, and we're going to go on another long hike. But what so far has been your favorite sight you've seen on this trip?
I think my favorite site has been St. Francisco's tomb.
Yeah, that was really trippy.
That was really beautiful.
Alright, Luke and Christian, we've seen a lot of cool sights so far, and we're obviously going to go see some more. But what has been your favorite sight you've seen on this little trip in the CC?
I call first. My favorite was Carlo for sure. That was like surreal to see.
And he was just right there.
Yeah, it just looked like a sleeping guy.
Yeah, just not anything old or ancient. Like it was a guy about our age.
Yeah, and the fact that we got to see like 3 tombs in 2 hours was pretty cool.
Indeed. Christian, what about you?
I'd say mine was also Carlo, just being that he's incorruptible, so his body was just right there. And then it was just like cool to see how he was wearing clothing that I would wear. But also my probably favorite part would have been the San Damiano cross, the crucifix. That was really sick.
Yeah.
Just knowing the story that that the Lord spoke to St. Francis through that crucifix was pretty cool. So yeah.
Okay.
Alright guys, we made it to the top. I'm bringing him over here, hold on. Look at that. down the mountain. After all that exploring. Quite the sight up here, guys. Holy cow. Now, we go back down, and I believe we're gonna have dinner not long after we get there. You know what time it is? Time-lapse time. Time to speed through it.